Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Weekly CTI. That's right, the show where we take a deep dive into some current threats so that we can become better cybersecurity professionals. Basically, what we're going to do, we're going to learn about something so that we can learn from something, increasing our skills, our knowledge, and our ability to better protect our networks. That said, this one is quite a spicy meatball this week. Fortinet has had a little bit of an issue. Before we get too deep into that, of course, as always, please find the like, subscribe, notification bell, and comments if you so choose to join in on the conversation, as I always enjoy, so that we can learn from each other as well as from our article this week. That said, let's get into the old newsaroo, shall we? Here we go. This is brought to you from SecurityWeek.com. FortiNAC vulnerability exploited in wild days after release of patch. Ruh-roh, Raggy. This, no bueno. That's what we call this right here. Because this, my friends, is their FortiNAC, their network, oh my goodness, what I forget what NAC stands for. Network access control. Wow, blanking out. So much fun. By the way, if you didn't know this about me, I am horrible when it comes to the acronyms. I for whatever reason, my old noggin goes, yeah, I don't really like those, so I'm not going to remember them. I know what NAC does. I can't remember what NAC stands for, if that makes any sense. Maybe you suffer from the same affliction. Okay, moving on. Back into this. It says, this is reported by Edward Kovacs on February 23rd. Now this, let me give you a little bit of the timeline here. The timeline, I think it started on the 21st or 22nd. Fortinet released the advisory. Hey, we've got a bit of a problem. You might want to do something about this. Here's your old patch. Pretty straightforward. Just apply, lather, rinse, repeat on any of the FortiNAC servers that you have running around. Yeah, do that now because this bad. And then, as of yesterday, I was seeing updates to this. So we'll kind of walk through this. So that was the 24th. Today's the 25th. I know you're probably watching this at another date and time. I film these well before I release them. But yeah, so that's where we're at with this. For those through those days, now you kind of get to where we were and where we are. All right, let's get back to this. It says, in the wild exploitation of FortiNAC vulnerability tracked as CVE 2022-39952. And we can do a little bit of this action. It says, was seen just days after the patch was announced. On the same day, a proof of concept exploit was made public. Like I said, it gets a little spicy. We're going to have some fun because we're going to get to look at some proof of concept code. I did remember that acronym, didn't I? Go me. One in the win pile. All right, let's see here. They said they were publishing 40 security advisories. This is the flaws in external file name path control issue, which can be exploited by an unauthenticated user or unauthenticated attacker to write the data on the system, which can result in arbitrary code execution. Whoo! For the attackers, that's a good day at the beach right there. All right, let's see here. February 21st, autonomous pen testing company Horizon 3 released a blog post detailing how it can be exploited, plus a proof of concept code. So maybe this, where is the, I'm making sure on the, okay, February 16th is where it started, right there. That's when Fortinet released the security advisory, right? And then, 5 days later, there's PoC for this. Funsies, don't worry, we're going to get to that. It says, on that same day, a nonprofit cybersecurity organization, Shadow Server, warned that its honeypots, and this is the second time we've seen honeypots. In the first episode of Weekly CTI, we saw the use of honeypots. They seem to be an effective tool for the old cyber. Maybe we want to look more into that, right? Let's see here. Started seeing exploitation attempts coming from multiple IP addresses. So, secret's out, boys. All right? You got a real problem. And the good news is they do have a patch, so there is that. But, as we all know, we're not great. When I say we, just enterprise, the world at large, not phenomenal at applying patches or updates for various and sundry reasons. But, hey, if you are patched, good for you. If you're not patched and you're watching this and the first time you heard about this, I'm going to give you a moment to throw up. All right. So go ahead, get your bucket, do your thing. All right. Welcome back. You got a little right there. So get that off. Now that that's over, let's get down to brass tacks here. Y'all need to figure out some sort of security control to stop this from happening. Now, an easy way to go about that? Well, we got ourselves a patch, right? So why don't you try that? If not, throw something else in front of it. I don't care what it is. This is done through the web, so maybe through like a WAF, something. Make it inaccessible. You'll see how this works here in a moment, but there are ways. So you learn from this, figure out what you can do as far as the security control goes, and then get to work. All right. Yeah, they see PoC. Then it says on February 22nd, the Threat Intelligence Agency Greynoise also reported seeing broad exploitation of the FortiNAC vulnerability. So let's take a look. I did bring up those Greynoise pieces of data there. So Greynoise here, they basically just kind of tell you what's going on as far as like threats that are being exploited and what they're seeing as far as activity over known vulnerabilities. So it says here, there we go, IP addresses with this tag, which are FortiNAC RCE attempt. You can kind of hover to discover a little bit. I guess you got to press it. Oh, you got to be logged in. And they got a free tier, so if you totally sign up for Greynoise, it's a great little tool. Let's see here. It says been observed attempting to exploit that CVE, which is 2022-39952, and an unauthenticated file path manipulation vulnerability that can lead to remote command execution. RCEs, our favorite. Here's the activity by day. So we saw the release of February 16th. And as of that day, they saw one unique IP. Then on February, that's February 22nd, not 16th. That's 1600 hours. February 22nd, then February 23rd, we are up to 2. And then it kind of peters down back to 1. And then as of today, we've got not much activity going on. That's probably because this is kind of hit the wire, and hopefully you have already updated, and that's what's going on. Greynoise created tag. This is the timeline for this. We can view the IPs. You can hit this manual download. I've already kind of hit that. You'll notice I'm getting this because I don't have the free account, but what was fun? Where was it? I think, oh, it did allow me to do this because click. and you can see I'm not logged in, right? But there are the two malicious IPs that we're trying this, 1732. So these are IoCs. So if you're looking for IoCs, we'll talk a little more about IoCs near the end of the episode. But definitely some good IoCs where that's coming from. So maybe you want to block access from and to those lovely IP addresses right there. One coming from Germany, the other from the United States. If you click on them, we can see, there we go, observed activity. You can see ports. So there you go. And it's starting to get in these web requests. And this is all about what we're getting ready to learn about how this attack actually works. So this is definitely some stuff you want to key in on if you're trying to defend against this. If you do have a FortiNAC server that is connected to the internet, we'll talk about why that would be and why that wouldn't be, and whether or not that's a common thing, right? But we'll see. But more fun stuff here. You can take those and use them as necessary in your security defenses. All right, Greynoise, we don't need you anymore, so we'll go ahead and click out of there. So let's jump back here to our article. There we go. Let's see here. And then there's a Chile-based or Chilean cybersecurity firm, CronUp, also was reported seeing mass exploitation on there. Do we want to get into that? I got some notes on here. I got an idea. No, we'll get into CronUp's findings here in just a little bit. So we'll just be patient. What I want to kind of do is now let's kind of deep dive into what the problem is. So we're seeing it being exploited. There is an issue. It's being actively exploited. There is a fix. So it's a pretty good thing as far as what we got going on here. But how does this stinking work? So as you can see, it said, not Greynoise, but back up here, it was FortiSecurity advisories, and I think how CVE can be exploited. And this is from Horizon 3, an autonomous pen testing company. I click on the link, it takes me here, and we are going to spend a little bit of time in this article, hitting the highlights and the most important pieces of information that will help us understand this so that we can learn from it, increase our skills for security, pen testing, so on and so forth. All right, introduction. Yeah. We kind of already know this. It does say that we will obtain remote code execution in the context of the root user. Yeah, oh man, the hits just keep on coming, don't they? Oh, you need your throw up bucket again? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I got you. Take your time. Yeah, get it all out. Feel better. Oh man, I'm glad I don't have FortiNAC on the internet. At least not at this point in time. All right. So, step 1, extract the system. So, apparently what they did was they extracted the file system from the virtual appliance that they downloaded from Fortinet. I did attempt to download FortiNAC from Fortinet, and I don't know whether the form was broken or if they were actively like blocking downloads for the FortiNAC product because of this. They have a release or a patch, right? They've released a patch. I don't see why it would be a problem, but I tried on multiple different devices, multiple different browsers for multiple different IPs. It would not download because I was like, oh, I'll just spin this up in some virtual. We'll do this. Nope. Couldn't get my hands on it. At least not as of the filming today. So what are you gonna do, right? My eye was itching. I'm gonna take a little sip on a tasty beverage. So good. But I tried. I really did because I wanted to do this on stuff, but I was unable to get my hands on FortiNAC. Okay, so there you go, and you can see that this is a version 9.4. That is the affected system. I'm not sure if it would affect previous systems or not, but we do know 9.4 is relevant to this. So basically, they use Vert file systems to extract those file systems and then mount those file systems to whatever directory. Looks like a temp directory right there. Bam. Cool. That's nothing out of the realm of anyone's expertise on this show, I'm sure. If you're like, whoa, I didn't know you could totally mount these file systems, man, you are welcome. That's what this is kind of all about. Learning cool little tricks like this that might not be in your bag of tricks, your toolkit, as it were. And now you have an extra tool in your toolkit that you can do stuff with and maybe utilize for various reasons. All right, so bam, you'll notice you get this lovely, I'll just click on it, and you can see you're getting this, what looks like, what's that? Oh yeah, it just completely hoses me. Whatever. You can see this is a directory of the file system, just like you normally, a Linux directory. All right, this takes us into the vulnerability. Why? What? Okay, big deal. I've extracted a file system. Well, as anybody knows that does security testing, with extracted file systems, you can find secrets. And this is kind of exactly what they did. Well, this was more of a logic issue, a programming flaw, a logic flaw in the programming is a better way, I guess, to put it, in what it was able to do. And once they were able to read what was going on, they could see, oh, what's this do? What's that do? And they just analyzed what was going on so that they could see if there were any issues. And well, obviously they found one, but you can also find things like, hard-coded credentials, or, built-in anything. It could be any cool little piece of security gold. All you got to do is mine it out by dumping out the file system and seeing what's on it. Kind of going through each file, look for hidden files. Maybe there's SSH keys that are, oh, what is this? Maybe encryption keys that are being used and they're not like generated at runtime, that kind of stuff. You got these hard-coded encryption keys, and now you can just extract those out. Now, where can I use? Oh, is that doing this? Okay, well, I can use that encryption key to decrypt that data. Bada bing, right? So that's all sorts of cool stuff you can do when you look into file systems. And again, that's what they did here. So let's get back into this. So the big deal here was they found this file called keyUpload.jsp. Here's the full path. Bang, bang, bang. Which is in /BSC /campusMgr /UI /root /configWizard /keyUpload.jsp. So obviously this is a Java, right? I think that's Java. Or is it JavaScript? Maybe it's JARS, Java, and GSP. Shows my ignorance, right? But it was removed in this patch. So this was the fix. This is what they did to fix it. Here's a screenshot of them having it removed. So basically, when they looked at this file, there was a fun little thing that they realized that was happening. Now, I just clicked on the screenshot. Now we've got it nice and there. You'll notice there's this file upload. I can't really highlight because it's a picture. Sorry, I wish I could. But there it is, file upload equals new file. And then you'll notice it does this campusMgr config upload dot app. Oh, is it scrolled over? There we go. There we go. And there's where it's going, upload dot appliance key. So it's saying, I'm going to take an upload from the user through the web UI, and I'm going to write it to here, because that's new file, right? It comes from uploaded file, and that's coming from a request, a post request from the web interface. By the way, don't forget, you don't have to be authenticated, or at least you didn't at the time, to access this file upload funness. You just have to post your file to the right place, and off it goes. And then they say, okay, we got file.write uploaded file. Oh, okay, because file is uploaded file, and it equals new file. And this is where it comes from. Then it does the try of runtime. So runtime key equals our RT key equals runtime.get runtime system.out. Let's see here, running config class. So this, it says print line, running config appliance XML. That's an interesting piece of information we'll see again later. And then, ooh, look at here, process the PR key, which is the process key equals runtime key, or RT key dot exec. When you see exec in a programming language, it means, hey, operating system, do me a solid and run this command, would you? You know, there's other ways of doing it, but that's definitely one of them. And you can see it is sudo, it's fun, /BSC. So this campusMgr bin /config appliance XML is, and you'll notice it said before, hey, print running config appliance XML, and then run config appliance XML. Don't forget to sudo that. You know, we hate for pesky permissions to get in the way. Just make it easy and use that sudo command right there. It's a good time had by all. All right, so it says then get a commands output stream. So this is some comments. Input stream equals, and then get input stream, new buffered reader. We got a buffered reader, BR key equals, input stream is string key. Booyah. And then system.out to print line string key. All right. So it looks like this was the major flaw right there was, hey, don't forget to do that. Awesome. So run that wonderful thing. Upload that and then run this. So there's obviously like this config appliance XML is some sort of binary or script, okay? Because it's running it. It's executing it. All right, let's go back. Ooh, and the hits just keep on coming. All right, so now it says, right, after successfully writing the file, call runtime.exe executes a bash script located at config appliance XML. Here is the bash script. Yay, let's see what it does. So bin shell, it's just a shell script or a bash script, whatever. Unalias and then cd. So unalias the cd command to dev null, okay. And then it cds into, yeah, I can't see this. Is that the /root directory? Not / the root directory, not / root directory. I always love that about Linux, right? Is that there is the root directory, which is just a /, and then there is roots directory, which is /root. Things it just, yeah, you got to deal with. But that's fun. Little funnage, right? What would life be like without it? All right, so it says version, blah, 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 get the version. So if the version equals 0, then echo the script is not supported in this version. But other than that, it just runs this unzip-o to upload.appliance key. All right, that's what's up. Or no, that's not to, but from. This is the upload.appliance key. So this is the uploaded file, and it is unzipping it. -o, there you go. Okay, cool. All right, let's get back in business here. I do not know why that showed up. Go away. Thank you. So now we know that it is basically unzipping a file. This is what's Horizon 3 also figured out. Now we are ready. Well, oh, there was one more little piece of interesting. I got a couple of notes over here. I want to make sure everything. What's interesting is, remember in the bash script, it's CD'd into that / directory, right? I'm trying to get my mouse somewhere. So just the / directory is the root of the file system. And that is good for us as attackers if we are acting in such a way. Maybe we're pen testing for this, because that allows us, because unzip will not allow you to basically traverse upward, but it will allow you to extract anything below the current working directory. You'll notice that in that bash script, it moved us into the root of the file system, which means everything is underneath the current working directory, which means we can upload files to anywhere we like. You need your throw up bucket again? Because I feel like you probably do. You're like, oh, this is bad. It's so bad for me if I have this happening. Get on, Billy, get over here and get on this, right? So, yeah, so that's kind of cool. Well, it's bad, but it's also cool at the same time. It's a weird dichotomy that we have to deal with. So because of that, we will be able to take advantage of this. Now, it does tell us one thing, because we are running unzipped, and we probably need to upload a zipped file so that we can unzip the zipped file to wherever we like, because that's the last thing that's running. All right, pieces of information that could be useful to us during exploitation. Back to it, shall we? All right. Weaponization of the issue. So basically what they ended up doing was doing a post request, and they created a cron job. Because who doesn't love a good cron job? If you can write to anywhere in the context of root because you're sudoing, then good news is that you can write to cron, the cron tab, and yeah, or the cron.d, which is apparently where they put theirs. And you're off to the races, because it's going to run at the given intervals. Now, they do give us their GitHub page where they wrote the proof of concept code, the PoC, which is right here. Bing, bing, bing. Right? So let's take a look at this. They got their README on how it works. It's fairly straightforward. Run, run thing, watch thing, go root time. Right? So this is the payload that they are working with. As you can see, it is a cron job. All these stars mean just run it anytime, anywhere, right? All the time, every place, all the time, as Joe Wall said. Life, or was it Don Henley? The Eagles, life in the fast lane, right? Root, so that's going to be the context of the user, and then run this. This is your command. What's my command? Run bash-i. What are we going to be doing there? Well, we're going to be redirecting a few things. This is just a common way of reverse shelling using bash. It's not the only way to make this happen. So if you're testing with this and this doesn't work, try another way to do a bash type of thing. Obviously, this is not the only game in town when it comes to getting reverse shells. They could have Python installed. You could use Python to do it. They could have Perl installed. They could have, you know, a variety of different languages, and you would just have to upsell, especially if they're scripting type languages, and you can just roll with it. You know, that'll be fun. Good time. Maybe write yourself a nice web shell, drop it in the web directory somewhere. Those are fun. Those are fun. And then you can do anything you like from the web shell. Good times. Good times. But here they just showed, obviously it's dev TCP with the IP address and port. And then a little more redirection. Funsies. So there's your proof of concept. Let's go back to the payload. Bam, hit this thing right here. And here we go. Just a simple little Python script. We're importing things like request, zip file, so we can create the zipped file, URL lib. So all this is for doing web requests in Python 3. Here's the exploit. We can see there's the targets, HTTPS, wherever target comes from. I guess target will get defined somewhere. And then port 8443, which is this is the web request, right? And you'll notice it needs to be a post request right there. Can make this large. Fun. And then there's the file key open payload.zip. You notice it is a zip file. It's uploading to keyUpload.jsp. And then if we get successful upload in the returned text, well then, hey, print payload was successfully delivered. That's always nice for us. Let's see here. What else? This is where it makes the zip file. Whoa. Whoa there, cowboy. Grab that. That makes it a little more smooth. Let's see, cron d payload. So this is where we want to save our payload to, obviously. And you'll notice it's opening a file because it's saying payload.zip, then write. So zf.writes, payload file and full path, and then close the file and then print, hey, you wrote the file to this path. And then finally, the main parser. Hey, so if you don't do any arguments, it's going to kind of complain at you, telling you what you need to do. And then bam, bam, make zip, exploit, bada bing, bada boom, booyah. So obviously you bring target in from arguments, parser add arguments. This is where you get that. Okay, there's the proof of concept. Very, very simplistic. Get that out of the way. Back to that. So what do we do? How does this work? Remember, very simple, very straightforward. You are going to create a zip file with a malicious payload inside. And specifically here, it will be a cron job that runs a bash flavored reverse shell all the time. Fun. It is going to write that to cron d so that it runs. Cool. Start listener, wait for thing to happen. If everything goes well, you should then have a reverse shell. Let's see if that is the case. So there they said they created a zip that contains the file, right? They uploaded the malicious zip. They started a listener and they waited. See if I can. So there it is. There's them running it. Whoop. I'm so sorry. This is getting fun for me. So there's their payload. You can see it says cat payload and then Python. They're using Python too. Fun. At least with this. I don't know why they did that. So make zip.py payload, blah, 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 blah. They created the evil zip, and then they just used curl to upload it to keyUpload.jsp. Everything looked successful. And then, of course, we have a listener waiting down here. And booyah, ID equals root. I don't know whether to cheer or throw up. Stomach's probably empty at this point. It's just dry heaves. It's just, all right. Oh, those are fun. You ever get seasick? If you've never been seasick, don't ever get seasick. It is a hell you never want to know. Trust me. I have been down that road. But you're probably experiencing something similar to that if you have FortiNAC going on here. Now, we did say CronUp. Remember, there was a Chilean company, CronUp, said it was seeing indications of compromise in the wild. Let's take a look at that. So here we are, just kind of scroll to the pertinent part. I'll make sure to put all these, they're all kind of available if you're watching through each one of the steps we're kind of going through. But I'll try to make these, I'll put all these links in the description for everyone so they can check out these articles. But see, here we go. In here, again, I can't highlight. This is a picture. Wish they would just paste the text in, but they don't. But we can see right around this region right here, payload underscore blah, 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 dot zip, right? And then that is going to ding, 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 file name. Oh yeah, look, bash c curl dot sk_http, blah, 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 blah. And there you go, dash d, who am I? So looks like they might be actually doing what I said, which is creating like a web shell because they're curling for this new file. Cool. And then giving it a parameter of what to run. Down here, we see another one where it actually does the reverse shell. If we see, where is it at? Oh, there's payload.zip right around this region. And then right here, we see payload root bash dash I bang, 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 bang. And there it is, 192.210.200.66 on port 8088. So if that is malicious, if that is a malicious actor, you would probably want to do something with that IP and port. to know that they are actively coming after your FortiNAC. Is there any other? Or FortiNAC. There's another one with, it looks like a reverse shell. There's another IP in there, 178.157.82.125 on port 9443. Yay. Any others? Yeah, there's some more stuff that's being redacted. But anyway, obviously we're seeing stuff in the wild. Leave this to you if you want to like scour over these findings a little bit more. But cool beans. Now let's get into indicators of compromise. Now we've already kind of seen a few of these things, but so according to Horizon 3, because they were using a trial version, they were unable to access the logs via the GUI, but they were still able to access some logs via the command line. And they did see one IoC there that was kind of useful. If you look in bsc/log/output.master, you can check for this lovely photo right here and look for, oh yeah, running config appliance XML. We saw that. That's when you know. So it actually ran the thing. So that stuff is actually getting logged in the log system of FortiNAC. So you can check the logs in bsc/logs/output.master and look for config appliance XML. And you can see that it did run. There's the extracting of the payload. So obviously there are some indicators of compromise there that you can kind of use to check your systems if you have this. All right, anything else I want to do? Oh yeah, this is where it gets a little spicy, right? It gets a little like FortiNAC shots fired. They come back like, oh yeah, well, it's not as bad as you think it is. Well, is it? I don't know. Let's go here. As of yesterday, of the 24th of February of 2023, FortiNAC shares clarifications on exploitation of the FortiNAC vulnerability. Again, this was by Edward Kovacs at SecurityWeek. They are staying on top of this. Good job, Ed. And it says that FortiNAC shared some important clarifications of the following described as sensationalized reports regarding the recent exploitation attempts targeting a vulnerability in FortiNAC. Oh man, like I said, they didn't just take this laying down. Apparently what was going on is that it was being reported that there were like 700,000 plus exploitable machines on the internet via this CVE. That's the nightmare scenario. But FortiNAC was like, whoa. So much pump your brakes there, fella. I don't know what the heck you're talking about because it's highly unlikely there's 700,000 of these things that are internet accessible. So who's right, who's wrong? That's a good question. It seems like FortiNAC might have a leg to stand on here because it says that patches for the flaw were announced on the 16th, technical details, blah, 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 on the 21st. On the same day we saw that, Greynoise, but it says it's very easy to exploit. Here we go. However, the company pointed out that there have been some sensationalized reports about potential mass exploitation of 711,000 devices. Quote, those reports are false, Fortinet said. Of course, there is the link to that right there, their blog about this. Quote, the fact is, most organizations leverage FortiNAC in air-gapped environments that are not exposed to the internet. That would definitely reduce the amount. And while Fortinet has a vast cybersecurity portfolio and shipped over 10 million units, in reality, there aren't 711 plus thousand devices out there that are vulnerable. This is an understandable misunderstanding because we ship more security appliances than anyone, but those reports are false. It says it's probably referencing a Shodan search of that thing that appears to show more than 700,000 exposed Fortinet devices. However, this does not mean each of those devices are affected or vulnerable, right? Right. So people could have applied the patches. There might be other security controls in place that would stop this from occurring, so on and so forth. So that's just worst case scenario. Obviously, attackers, you could probably script this without too much effort, honestly. It doesn't seem like it would be too difficult to just scour the internet looking for these things, you know. Look for port, look for the ability to access correct area without authentication, check if you can upload, enjoy shells or whatever you're going to do, right? I mean, you could be uploading malware at that point. So Fortinet also pointed out that exploitation attempts seem to might not actually be aimed at FortiNAC devices. Cloud honeypot, quote, cloud honeypot activity, I'm just horrible at scrolling, only shows attackers attempting to compromise some sort of device, not necessarily Fortinet NAC devices, or FortiNAC devices with externally provided PoC code. It clarified. So they're saying, hey, a bunch of script kiddies are at this. Well, don't think it's just us. The actual impact from exploitation remains to be seen. However, it's important that FortiNAC users do not ignore the potential threats, as sophisticated threat actors have been known to target Fortinet products. That's right. I think they've had like 9 big CVEs. I think the last article said that, right? They talked about, was it here? I think it's in here somewhere. Most recent CVEs. Yeah, right here. So CISA, or the U.S. Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, lists 9 such flaws in its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog, right? And that's in the past years. So there you go. That's what we got today. Whether there's going to be 700K of these things being exploited, probably not. And there is a patch available, so please patch. But man, this could definitely be a really good way for someone to gain some access into a system. We're running out of time here. Actually, I think we've run out of time, but we've run through this. I know I learned a lot from this. Hopefully you have as well. And if you've got a FortiNAC system out there, you definitely want to put the patch in place and or other security controls. Make that happen. That does it for Weekly CTI. I can't wait to see what we have next week, because I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what horrible thing is going to happen next week. But we'll find out. Stay tuned. Until next time, stay safe.